Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of NTI PodTalk. My name is Dianne Kaler. I'm the director of Nutrition Therapy Institute. And this is the time when I get to have discussions with students, graduates, instructors, other people in the community of health and nutrition and the NTI community so that people can learn more about us, what we do, who we are here. So that's what we're here today. Today, I'm very happy to be talking to one of our instructors, Priscilla Condon. And Priscilla is, I think, probably one of our longest standing instructors. Double checking, running through the list of instructors in my head. I think she's probably one of the longest standing instructors that we have here.
Maybe one of your oldest graduates, the longest standing graduates. I was one of the first graduating years.
Great, good. Well, and we'll talk about that. So welcome, Priscilla. And thank you so much for taking the time to be here today. I'm excited to be talking to you and learning more about you and having our students and our others who listen to the podcast find out more about you as well. So you mentioned you are a graduate of NTI, and do you remember when you graduated?
Oh, Lord, I've been to bed since then. Well, I've been here it's more than 15 years ago.
Yeah. Okay, well, great. Good. So, before you came to NTI, you had a career, and so can you tell us a little bit about, your educational background, your work background? What did you do before you came to NTI? And then I want to talk about what made you choose NTI. But before we do that, I want to hear a little bit about your background.
So I had a very varied background. I was married to an Army officer, so we moved all over the world. And so that inhibited me from being able to finish my college degree. So I was 36 when I went back to finish, got an associate's degree in nursing, and then got a bachelor's degree in nursing, and then went on to get a master's degree at Vanderbilt University in nursing. Worked I was double board certified both in pediatrics and family practice, and started the first school-based health clinic in Alabama for low-income children.
Great.
And was working in an independent practice, which was virtually unheard of in the state of Alabama, because the doctors here pretty severely regulate what nurse practitioners can do. So I was hired by the University of Birmingham School of Medicine, so I was on their faculty, and this was part of their community outreach. I then went on to join the faculty at Vanderbilt as an adjunct professor, and I supervised their students.
Great.
And I moved down to South Alabama and worked in a migrant health clinic, which was a real challenge, because I remember one of my patients was Czechoslovakian who didn't speak English. I spoke German, so we had to get a translator that could speak German to go to Czechoslovakian. So it was a definite challenge.
Yeah, wow. Well, so that's a fascinating background. So nurse practitioner, what made you want to branch out and go to nutrition school and learn about nutrition, coming from a nurse practitioner background?
Well, I loved being a nurse practitioner, but followed the party line. And then it was about 2003 or 4, I got really sick and had to retire. I had no energy. I couldn't get up off the couch. Knew the doctors to go to, knew the questions to ask, and could not get to the bottom of it. And so finally went to an endocrinologist who said, Priscilla, this is as good as it gets at your age. And I looked right at him and said, I'm smarter than you are. I'll figure it out. So,
good for you.
So I started reading about nutrition. And the more I read, the more overwhelmed I became. and said, I got to go back to school to figure this out for me. And so I started researching schools, and being somewhat of an academic snob, I didn't want a weekend feel good course. I wanted something that was going to get deep into the science of why I was doing what I was doing. And came across NTI, and I did at the time have three daughters living in Denver, and that was a draw. So actually, the one you met just a minute ago went by and checked it out for me. And she actually fell in love with it and entered as a student.
Oh, all right, good.
So we both entered about the same time. She did the classroom and I did the online. So and then when I graduated, I did it strictly for me. I had no inclination to go back to work again. And so many people said, what have you done? You're a different person. And so actually at age 60, I started this business.
Yeah. So tell us what business is this business?
This is called Path to Wellness, and our byline is Help Through Knowledge. And so rather than doing my traditional, here's the symptom, here's the pill, which really never got anybody well, now I look at the why behind it, and we see all varieties of nutritional problems that I work with a board certified neurologist who is doing alternative medicine for Alzheimer's and dementia and ADD. So I see a lot of his clients. That we see a lot of children with ADD. We see a lot of women with hormone problems. I turned out what my problem was is I was diabetic that had not been diagnosed, and so obviously I'm very interested in diabetes, and so I do see a lot of diabetic, clients to help them, with nutrition rather than just medication. So what Path to Wellness does.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. I think places like that, practices like that are such in high need. And I'm always thrilled to hear that they exist, and happy to know people who work in these types of practices where they are looking at sort of root cause issues and including nutrition as a foundational piece of the puzzle and the path towards optimal wellness for the patients and the clients. So
not only that, but you have to realize I live in rural Alabama, so my practice is a real anomaly.
yeah,
Needed, desperately needed.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so you have been teaching at NTI for quite a while. Can you talk about what course you teach, and can you talk about why you have stuck with teaching for so long? Like, why are you still here?
Because I love it, and I think it's the best. That's simple. I teach anatomy and physiology, which is the foundational course, and so I really get that first impact. And so what I like to do in my teaching, y'all have done such a magnificent job in the slides and the videos, and the information is there. I like to try to put it in the practicality of how is this going to affect you when you start your own practice. So I bring in what I've done for the day. I'll say, oh, I got to see this today. And just to try to give them a glimpse of the excitement and how wonderful it is to actually turn people's lives around. And so I tell people that I'm no spring chicken, that I will be 76 in a month. And so I say, as long as I'm excited to get up every morning and come to work, I'll still work. And just I have that person come in. We have husbands, we have wives who come in and say, you've saved our family. Thank you so much. And as long as I can do that, I'll keep working, and that goes over to teaching, because I'm not going to be here forever. I got to bring that next group of people up, and I want them to be well educated, and I think that's what they get at NTI, is that deep scientific knowledge and the background of why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we should point out that, you teach online. We also have in-person classes, and you're not commuting here to Denver once a week to teach in person. So you teach online. So can you talk about kind of maybe the challenges, but also the rewards of teaching in an online platform?
So it's interesting. When I went through the program, Catherine went through the in-class program, and
Right.
it was so far superior to what I got. I was given a textbook and an exam every week and said, good luck. I never met my professor. I don't, still to this day wouldn't know her if she walked in the room. And without my background, I'm not sure I could have done it. Y'all have upgraded the program and made it so much more inviting to online students with the support that we have. That so the challenge is not knowing the students. That so I love that I now am able to have a welcome Zoom. At least I can put a face with it. I'm a people person. I love the interaction with people. So I miss that. That's the challenge for me for the ones who are straight independent, students. The group, class, I get to have the telesession every week. And so I get very close with them. And I will say the class I'm teaching right now, I absolutely adore. They're challenging my brain. And I think that's the other reason I stay is these students are so smart that they ask me questions every week that I don't know. And then I have to go back and research that. So it keeps me on my toes. It keeps my brain working. So that's the reward of it. The challenge is not being there with them.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that, we've had several interviews, several PodTalk interviews with a variety of our instructors. And I think that, you really exhibit the special nature of the instructors that we have here, because we have such a broad range of educational backgrounds in our instructors, work histories, what they do in their practice, and then ways that they teach and ways that they engage with our students. And so you get such a wide variety, a broad spectrum of knowledge. And also, our curriculum, we call it a spiral curriculum, where you learn something, at a certain level in one place, and then maybe that same course, but a different class, or maybe a different course, you learn something else, and you layer and you layer, and it keeps spiraling up and up and up until you get this, broad spectrum of knowledge. And so you could be hearing the same thing from 5 different people, but because those 5 different instructors have such broad backgrounds, it really makes the information blossom into something that I think is useful, clinically relevant, that you can now take that academic learning and turn it into something that you can apply with your clients when you're working with them one-on-one. So, and just you really help set the foundation for that, because as you say, you are, teaching the A&P, which is one of our foundational science courses. It's one of the first courses that all of our students take. And then they're building on top of what they're learning from you through their other courses and other instructors. So
Absolutely. Totally agree. That's one of the first things I tell them is you can't memorize everything on every slide. The important things, you're going to hear it over and over and over again. So trust the course.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, good. So let's move a little bit past NTI and talk about you. So you say you live in rural Alabama. Do you partake in the local sort of food traditions there? Like, do you have specific foods that you like to incorporate in your diet on a regular basis?
So I got to be honest with you here. So I am Southern born and raised. So if somebody asks me my favorite food, I instantly go to fried chicken and grits and biscuits and butter beans and yeah, love it. Is it what I eat now? No. I said ignorance was bliss, and I lived in that bliss until I got sick. So what I love to do now, I'm so blessed that all around me are farmers. So I go and pick the vegetables that not always organic, but yeah, I do the best I can. Live on the Gulf Coast, and so I go out in my front yard and catch crab, and we go shrimping and get shrimp, and go fishing and catch fresh fish. And so yes, we incorporate a lot of that into our diet. And that this week has been cold, but normally we have things growing all year round. And so to avail, what is fresh and readily available is what I love doing. And Catherine and I both love taking those recipes that we grew up with and loved and making them something that our clients can have.
Yeah. Well, and I was going to ask about like that. Like, are you helping your clients to take those foods that they grew up with and make it into something that's going to be more supportive of their optimal wellness?
Well, I'll give you a perfect example. One of my favorite things on earth is a corn and butter bean salad. And it's got mayonnaise and it's just delicious. So I've substituted edamame for butter beans.
Yeah.
Which helps a little bit. That it's not something I would recommend for a diabetic, but it's a little bit healthier than So for Christmas we made a key lime pie. That we used monk fruit as the sweetener. I made a condensed milk with the heavy cream. So there was not, and we made the crust out of dates and walnuts and almonds.
Right.
Pecans. And so we took something that, not again, I wouldn't have every night, but for a special occasion, and made it. It was delicious. We love doing that.
Yeah. And I bet your clients and maybe friends and relatives, that you're sharing this with, I bet they're really getting a lot of good benefit out of these substitutions that you're
I hope so.
making.
I keep trying.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a informed alcoholic. I keep pushing it on people.
I think it's so helpful because a lot of times when people say, well, I'm going to see a nutritionist or whatever, like they see it as someone's going to tell them that they can't eat their favorite foods, and someone's going to tell them that they have to eat food that, is healthy, and they have this negative connotation of what healthy means. And, and sort of it devolves into, I'm going to be eating cardboard, and so I think it's so helpful that you have this, first of all, personal history with the traditional cuisine of the area, and you're able to take what you know about that and then layer on top of that what you know about how certain things in that tradition are maybe not supportive of optimal health, and are able to help people, show them, see it you can do it. And I think that's amazing.
So I use the analogy of, I told you I was married to an army officer, and we lived in Germany for 10 years. So when I got there, I didn't have grits and butter beans and fried chicken. And so I learned a new cuisine. It was not the same, but it was delicious. And so I try to approach them, and how they're going to have to look at the food that we're introducing is delicious. I actually have a little paper cookbook that I need to do more with, that's called Scrumptiously Healthy. To get across to them, this hidden cardboard. It's delicious.
Yeah, absolutely. And, for those who are listening, eating healthy is delicious. Yeah, absolutely. So, that a part of being healthy, and certainly part of aging well, requires that you're not working all the time. So what kind of things do you do outside of work that help keep your life fresh and your mind fresh? What kind of things do you do?
I love anything outdoors. It's living in South Alabama. I do live on the Gulf Coast, and so the is my front yard.
Uh-huh.
Has benefits and yeah, problems,
Yeah.
but so I love kayaking. That's my passion in life. It's how I get rid of stress. My children gave me a tricycle. They wouldn't let me ride a bicycle because they didn't trust me not to get killed. So they gave me a little red tricycle for your Christmas 2 years ago. So I said I look kind of like the Wicked Witch of the West. I've got my little basket in the front, and then I'll go tootling down the road. So I love to ride my bicycle. Unfortunately, my knees are really bad, and so I can't walk anymore, which I adored. I love fishing. I love, again, anything that's outdoors. And I love reading too. So
Yeah.
I have what we call a swinging bed. It's literally a bed that's on up off the floor and swings. So when the weather is warm, I get out on that and can just get lost in good books.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not,
So the swinging bed is outside.
it's outside. It's on
Okay,
my
gotcha. Gotcha.
yes, on my porch.
All right, good. Well, so do you have like an online presence? Do you have a website? Do you have, for your business, obviously you do. So where can people find out more about you and your business that you have?
That's a very interesting question and something that is ever present on my mind. So about 3 years ago, I had decided to retire.
Uh-huh.
And I had a website, and so I stopped taking new clients and I started kind of closing down. And then my daughter, that was here earlier, moved down here and is now taking over my business. And so we are rebuilding it again. And she's done a magnificent job at getting it back up, actually better than it was before I started retiring. And we have not done a website and need to get that up and going again. So right now it's all word of mouth. I'm getting a good number of doctor referrals, which has taken me 15 years to develop. I've had them say I was a witch doctor. I've had them say I'm just a charlatan trying to steal money. But now they're coming around to realize there's some validity to this, and a lot of validity to this, and I'm getting a lot of referrals. So no, we do not have a website. We should.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. And no other social media stuff, Instagram or Facebook, nothing. All right. Good. Well, that's
Catherine started an Instagram account and we're working on it.
yeah. Well, quite honestly, Priscilla, hats off to you because someone can have, pardon me, someone who can have a successful business in this day and age without having a website and social media, you're doing something right. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. I always enjoy talking to you, and I certainly enjoy having you continue to be an instructor here because I think you bring real value to our program. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I certainly enjoy it.
All right.
I'm honored to be part of it.
That's fabulous. Thank you. All right. Well, have a great rest of your day, Priscilla.
Thank you.